What's up, guys? So, a long time ago, I ended up making 50 cold approaches and I recorded exactly what went down with every single one of them in terms of the rejections, how harsh they were, the success rate, and everything else. I was part of a community at the time I wanted to share that type of information with. But I realized it's actually pretty useful to share with you guys because I it's pretty much what you can come to expect for most guys in terms of like the overall success rate. So let's get into it. So here's a table I made. If you like data presented in this way, a very unique subset of data. So okay, the column went with a friend. Uh, Self-explanatory. It is a bit of a crutch, but it doesn't matter. You're still approaching. You're still getting used to it. Zero interest. This is just they didn't really want anything to do with me. They just it wasn't like harsh, but it was just like very obvious they did not like me approaching them. And then friendly rejections, they were just polite, and it was completely fine. And that's what you can generally expect, at least 50-50 with the zero interest. Um, Now there's the general location under location. This was like approaches where I just like randomly approached somebody, and it wasn't like I didn't go out to the mall to approach. I just was out and about, and I've always had like the most success with that. And then there's the hookups as well, which I had three, which is like a 6% success rate, which is actually pretty much what you can come to expect. You can definitely get it up to 10, if you only did like a general type approach, or if you only approach girls who seem interested in you, like maybe looking at you or maybe smiling, like, yeah, that number can be way higher. Um, but three is like reasonable, assuming you're not like socially inept or something like that. But rejected but wanted to talk. This threw me off so much. I had in my mind, I was so like, okay, I gotta go talk to her. I gotta go, ask her how's it's going or whatever. And then they'll talk, and then suddenly they'll be, I'll go for their number, like, hey, do you ever want to hang out sometime? And they'll be like, no, but I'm down to talk if you want. And my mind's like, what? You want to talk? I'm not prepared for that. How dare you? Um, and it kept happening, and it still threw me off for so long. And as you can see in the table, it happened a lot. I don't know, like I can't do the math in my head, but a high percentage of the time they just wanted to talk. It actually it didn't happen like that often after the fact. Maybe it was just young. Maybe they could tell I was like a lot more nervous, but it's interesting, and it might happen to you. So yeah, 6% rate success. I call it like a success. It's like if I get a number and I go on a date, that's a success because if I screw up on the date, that's not doesn't mean the approach wasn't successful. Now I realized after I made all this like data, there was actually another one. I think it might have been just after 50, and I approached a girl working at a tanning salon, and I went up to her. It was just pretty standard. I had was going tanning there for a while. I don't think I ever like really talked beyond just like setting the appointment up or whatever. And she rejected me. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And then the next time I go, I ended up approaching somebody else that was working there, and she accepted me hitting on her and went out for a date, and it actually went pretty well. And then the following, it was, I don't know, like a few days after the date, maybe just even a day, I set it up again, and they were both working together. And I realized they got to talking, and she didn't want anything to do with me because I also hit on her friend that was working there, and I hit her on her friend first, and you know maybe she just thought I was going up hitting on everybody, which I was. To be fair, I definitely was. But anyways, of the three that led to hookups, um, so one of them I actually could have pursued. I didn't actually reach out to her again, so maybe the success rate could have been higher. I just could totally tell this girl was like really inexperienced and like probably a virgin and all that. So I didn't really want to do anything. But anyways, of the three that worked, the first one is literally the girl I'm still dating today. She was just going outside of her work. I was in my truck. I just like called her over and asked her what she's doing. She said she was going to Booster Juice, and I made some. In hindsight, I'm surprised she still talked to me, but I made some comment about BJ's, like Booster Juice, but obviously, you know, and I guess she laughed it off or whatever, and it didn't mind a stranger calling her over and mentioning BJ's. But yeah, that worked out. The girl at the gym, this was kind of like a situation opener. If you don't know what those are, it's like when you're like, you approach somebody, but you're using the situation that they're in. And it's just easier to like spark a conversation. It's just like, it's all that much more natural. And, but the downside is you can't always think of something in the moment. But yeah, she was working at the gym, and I just opened the gym doors, and she just said, "How's it going?" or "Hi," and then I just kept talking, and then ended up getting her number. And then there's another girl at the mall also working. Again, like, it's great to go for girls who are working because it's natural to talk to them, but they're also, you don't know if they're just being friendly. I mean, just in general, you don't know if they're being friendly because that just happens a lot. So you don't want to push it. Still, make the approach short, quick, easy. But yeah, just chatted her up, and that was it. That's it. So 6%, that's pretty good. If you keep everything else dialed in, it should be eventually like 10%. So like 1 out of every 10 to 20 women you approach. But again, the end game with all of this is to like not regularly go approach. Is that you can just randomly approach a girl when you see her, in your day-to-day life, and then have that work out. But that's it. See you in the next one. Peace.